Welcome to day 88 of our school year. Alright, let's go ahead and get down our beginning fraction. We have a total of 180 school days, and we are on day 88. Okay, let's find the factors for our numerator. Two factors we always know are 1 and the number itself. Using the commutative property of multiplication, I can also write it as 88 times 1. Now I'm going to use my divisibility rules, and I'm going to go in order so I don't miss any factors. So after 1 I try 2. The rule for 2 is that it ends in an even number. 8 is even, so 2 is a factor. 2 times 44. 44 times 2. I'm going to try 3. The rule for 3 is that we add the digits together. 8 plus 8 is 16. 16 is not a multiple of 3, so 3 is not a factor. We try 4. One way to check for 4 is look and see if the second factor with 2 is even. It is. So 4 is a factor. 4 times 22. 22 times 4. We try 5. The rule for 5 is that it ends in a 0 or 5. It ends in an 8, so 5 is not a factor. We try 6. The rule for 6 is that both 2 and 3 are factors. 2 is, but 3 is not, so 6 is not a factor. We try 7. 7, 14, 21, 28, 35, 42, 49, 56, 63, 70, 77, 84, 91. 88 is not in that list, so 7 is not a factor. We try 8. 8 times 10 is 80, and then 88. Yes, 8 is a factor. 8 times 11. 11 times 8. We try 9. 9 has the same rule as 3. You add the digits together, we get 16. 16 is not a multiple of 9, so 9 is not a factor. We try 10. The rule for 10 is that it ends in a 0. It doesn't end in a 0, ends in an 8, so 10 is not a factor. Then we get to 11, so we're done. Also 11 is prime, so we're done. Let's go ahead and list them from least to greatest. 1, 2, 4, 8, 11, 22, 44, 88. Well, we have 8 factors. That is more than 2 factors, so it is composite. Now we need to find our greatest common factor. So let's start with our greatest factor of 88. See if that works. Remember to keep your shaded separated from your unshaded. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. 2 plus 6 is 88. I have 4 left over. I don't want any remainders for my factor. I can divide by 88, but I want no remainders, so it is not a factor. Let's try 44. Make sure you have 44 in each group, and keep your shaded separated from your unshaded. Okay, so here 6 plus 3 is 30. I'm sorry, 3 tens is 36. 8 is 44. 2 plus 40 is 42. Plus 2 more is 44. 8 plus 30 is 38. Plus 6 is 44. And I have 4 left over, so that means 44 didn't work. Okay, let's try. So both of these are done. Let's try 22. 20 plus 2. 18 plus 4. 16 plus 6. 14 plus 8. 2 plus 20. 20 plus 2. 18 plus 4. 16 plus 6. I have 4 left over, so 22 does not work. Okay, now I'm going to try 11. 10 plus 1 is 11. 9 plus 2 is 11. 8 plus 3 is 11. 4 plus 7 is 11. 5 plus 6 is 11. 6 plus 5 is 11. 7 plus 4 is 11. 8 plus 3 is 11. 9 plus 2 is 11. 1 plus 10 is 11. 10 plus 1 is 11. 2 plus 9 is 11. 3 plus 8 is 11. 4 plus 7 is 11. 5 plus 6 is 11. 6 plus 5 is 11. And I have 4 left over again. Alright. Let's try 8. Okay, so I'm going to take 2 off of each of my groups here, because 10 take away 2 makes 8. And when you can use your logic and mathematical reasoning, it can help you get to the solution faster. But if you need to count, I would rather you count and get to the right answer slowly than get to the wrong answer quickly because you misremembered something. Alright, so let's see. Because 4 groups of 2 is 8, and I have 4 left over, so that means 8 is not our greatest common factor. Let's try 4. Okay, make sure you keep your shaded separated from your unshaded in your groups of 4, please. I am going to use the perfect squares to help me. 4 is called a perfect square because both sides are the same length, 2 times 2. So any number, when it's multiplied to itself, will create a perfect square because both sides are the same length. Every time you multiply, you're actually making an array for a rectangle. You're finding the area of a rectangle. And when you divide, you're finding the side of a rectangle. All right, no remainder here. Finally found our greatest common factor, which is 4. Okay, so let's count up our groups of 4. The way I've made my groups, I have 5 in each row, so I can count by 5s. 5, 10, 15, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45. Now notice here, I did not use my perfect squares because otherwise I would have ended up with half and half and half and half. I want to make sure I keep my shaded separated from my unshaded. So I have 45 total groups. And I have 5, 10, 15, 20, 21, 22 shaded in. Okay, I've done my division with my model. Now I'm going to divide using my algorithm. So I'm dividing both of these by 4. (180) divided into groups of 4, and 88. So inside that rectangle is an area of 88. One side is 4. I'm trying to figure out the other side. I know 4 quarters is $1 or 100 cents. So 4 times 25 is 100. Numbers the same, zeros the game. More on top, no need to stop. 10 times 4 is 40. Numbers the same, zeros the game. More on top, no need to stop. 10 times 4 is 40. Numbers the same, zeros the game. Add these partial quotients. 25, 35, 45. Here, 4 times 10 is 40. More on top, no need to stop. More on top, no need to stop. 10 times 4 is 40. More on top, no need to stop. Numbers the same, zeros the game. 2 times 4 is 8. Numbers the same, zeros the game. Add our partial quotients. 10, 20 plus 2 is 22. Now we're going to check using our inverse operation. Divisor times quotient plus remainder. Divisor times quotient plus remainder. Since the remainder is 0 for both, and the identity property of addition says when you add 0 it stays the same, I don't need to actually take the time to add the 0. 4 times 5, 4 groups of 5 is 20. 4 groups of 4 tens is 16 tens plus 2 more tens is 18 tens. 4 groups of 2 is 8. 4 groups of 2 tens is 8 tens. 88, that matches our dividend up here, so it checks. 180 matches our dividend up here, so it checks. Our numerator is definitely 22. Our denominator is definitely 45. All right, let's go ahead and fill in our data collection page. Okay, trimester 2, week 6. Today is 12, 19, 19, and our fraction for today is 22/45. Let's go ahead and get out our number line. We did groups of 4. So the last one we have is 19/45. So 20/45 is equivalent to 40/90, to 16/36, and 4/9 was the simplest form for that one. Okay, then we have 21/45, which is equivalent to 28/60, 42/90, and 7/15 is our equivalent fraction in lowest terms. And then today is 22/45. There are no lines below it because it is our simplest form. We just have our line right above it. So we have an equivalent fraction in the 2's, and then our beginning one. Okay. Let's go ahead and put your number line away, erase your worksheet, and thank you for joining me.